conveyed the nomination of Oyedele to the Senate for confirmation in a letter to the President of the Senate, Godswill Akpabio. The Executive Secretary of the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, also called TED Fund, Architect Sonny Echono, has constituted an advisory committee on robotics, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning centers, and cybersecurity. The committee is to monitor and guide interventions in engineering and technology across various tertiary institutions. Education correspondent Saadatu Garba reports.
Inaugurating the committee, Executive Secretary of TED Fund, Sonny Echono, described the occasion as a step to strengthen the implementation of interventions across beneficiary institutions with a focus on priority areas of national importance.
To identify and list institutions with demonstrable strength and capacity in robotics, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cybersecurity studies. B, to set criteria and conditions for selection of beneficiary institutions to benefit or to host any of the centers. C, to recommend not more than 6 beneficiary institutions to host the proposed center, taking into consideration the geopolitical zones as enshrined in the TED Fund Act.
Chairman of the Advisory Committee, Yakubu Ochefu, commended the bold decision to establish dedicated centers of excellence in the field of robotics, coding, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and cybersecurity. He promised that the committee will discharge its duties diligently and focus on the future of the nation's tertiary education system.
Stand before you to accept this task of chairing the TED Fund Committee on robotics, coding and artificial intelligence, machine learning and cybersecurity studies. To the board of trustees, my members and I accept this responsibility and pledge that we will abide by the terms of reference and discharge the mandate with distinction, diligence and unwavering focus on the future of our nation's tertiary educational systems.
The impact of these centers on job creation, innovation, and economic growth is enormous, as technology plays a major role in nearly every sector, which is critical to Nigeria's economic transformation. Saadatu Garba, reporting for Global TV News. Inaugurating the committee.
Thanks to you, Saadatu. Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, has assured the residents of Buhari Area Council of continued development. This came during a thank you visit to the community where the minister appreciated the people for their support. Kabir Hassan has the rest of the report.
Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, reaffirmed his administration commitment to delivering impactful projects across the territory. He said initiative under the Renewed Hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu will further improve infrastructure and livelihoods. The minister urged residents to remain united and sustain their support for government programs, while assuring youth and women of inclusive opportunities and improved social amenities.
I did say, under the government of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, we will give Buhari the necessary support. The youth will be carried along. Let me thank the people of Buhari for coming out under this sun to receive us. God will continue to bless you.
The minister emphasizes that the FCT administration will continue to ensure equitable development across all area councils. Kabir Hassan, reporting for Global TV News.
And now to other stories. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has approved the promotion of 2,339 staff members in its 2025 senior staff promotion exercise, underscoring its commitment to career progression, institutional continuity, as well as organizational stability. The decision was taken at the Commission's meeting held, according to a statement issued in Abuja by Victoria Etta-Mercy, at the directorate level, covering grade levels 16 to 17. A total of 45 deputy directors were elevated to the rank of directors. This number 18 will continue in active service, 27 are due for retirement shortly after their promotion in line with public service regulations. A major political realignment is unfolding in Imo State as prominent members of the People's Democratic Party defect to the All Progressives Congress in a move observers say could reshape the state's political landscape ahead of the party's state congress. Our correspondent, Amarachi Ibe, has details.
At the Executive Council Chambers of Government House in Owerri, party faithfuls drawn from various local government areas formally announced their defection to the ruling party, describing the move as a strategic decision. Leader of the defectors, Mike Ikoku, said their action was driven by confidence in the leadership style and developmental strides of the state governor.
Your Excellency, these are the people here today. We have the candidates that ran election in the last election that are also here to join you. Did I pay any of you money? No! Did I induce any of you? No! Your Excellency, nobody was induced. Everybody you see here are the ambassadors of Senator Hope Uzodinma.
Welcoming the new members, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma stressed the importance of unity and collaboration in advancing the state's development, assuring defectors of equal opportunities and inclusive governance.
Our infrastructure will continue to build on what will make Imo great. I will consult with your leadership. I will get some of you immediately and appoint them into the government.
Meeting with the party stakeholders, Governor Uzodinma urged leaders to remain united and focused ahead of state congress as party executive passed a vote of confidence in his administration.
Join me to create a kind of coherence, an atmosphere that will allow for peaceful politics in Imo State. Because if we don't have stability, we may not guarantee security. And if we don't guarantee security, there will be no development. So I advise all of us with ambition to contest the election to please sheathe your sword, allow the state to produce a structure, and then we can now use the structure to travel.
In a symbolic ceremony marking their formal admission into the ruling party, the APC broom emblem was presented to the defectors. The latest political alignment is expected to influence party dynamics in Imo State in the coming months. From Owerri, Amarachi Ibe reporting for Global TV News.
As you're talking politics now, the Kabiru Tanimo Turaki-led National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has called on its members to discountenance any information on the planned National Congress by the party. Turaki said members and the general public are hereby notified that the party is not conducting congresses in any part of the country. However, the Wike Ayao faction of the party, led by the National Caretaker Committee Chairman Abdulrahman Mohammed, had announced in a statement that members should prepare for congresses. Let's turn to Rivers State now, where the House of Assembly has confirmed the receipt of a list of commissioner nominees from Governor Siminalayi Fubara and invited 9 of them for screening and confirmation. Fubara forwarded names of nominees to the Martin Mayewule-led Assembly to serve as members of the State Executive Council upon clearance. The submission came about 3 weeks after the governor had sacked 8 commissioners who were not affected by the Supreme Court judgment recognizing Martin Mayewule as the authentic Speaker of the House. The governor also relieved all the special advisors of their appointments. Edo State's Governor Monday Okpebholo has asked public servants, political appointees, and government functionaries serving in any capacity in the public service to resign or before March 1 if they intend to contest for any elective position in the coming election. The governor said the directive was issued in compliance with the Electoral Act Amendment 2026. Okpebholo also noted that it was to ensure aspiring candidates did not run the risk of disqualification by the relevant electoral authorities. This is Global Television, and tonight you're watching the live broadcast of News Prime with Uyi Agmofwewe. The rest of the news continues after this weather forecast, plus business, foreign and sports stories for you. On the other side of this break, please do stay with us.
Thank you for joining us. Weather conditions across the northern states remain very dry under the influence of those dry, dusty northeasterly winds. And with a fresh dust advancing from the source region, parts of Kano and Katsina are expected to experience very poor visibility, down to 1,000 meters or less. Residents in these areas are advised to drive carefully, use a nose mask where necessary, and stay updated through our eFlight folder portal for latest and more weather information. Elsewhere across the north, visibility is expected to range between 2,000 to 5,000 meters under moderate dust haze, while the north-central states will experience a more slightly dusty condition. Now, while the north stays dusty, the south prepares for rainfall activities as thunderstorms are expected during the morning hours in parts of Cross River, Akwa Ibom, and Ondo states. This rain chances increases as the day progresses to include the stretch of the coastal belt as well as parts of Oyo, Ondo, Ogun, Edo, and Delta states. That's the forecast for Wednesday. I am Theodora Itu. Thank you for watching.
Well, thank you so very much, everyone, for staying with us. You're watching the live broadcast of News Prime here on Global Television. The second part of this news broadcast now returns with business, where the Petroleum Products Retail Outlets Owners Association of Nigeria, Petron, has once again emphasized the urgent need to consolidate and strengthen Nigeria's domestic refineries through the provision of adequate and consistent crude oil supply. The call came on the heels of the crisis in the Middle East that has affected the international oil markets, pushing up prices. This proactive approach is essential to minimizing the impact of external geopolitical shocks on the nation's petroleum markets, according to the nation's association's national president, Dr. Billy Gillis-Harry. The House of Representatives Committee on Finance has flagged off its revenue monitoring exercise for the 2023-2025 fiscal years as part of efforts to boost funding for the 2026 budget. Chairman of the committee, James Falike, says the annual engagement with revenue-generating agencies is aimed at uncovering all government funds to support the 2026 appropriation bill once passed. Our National Assembly correspondent, Aniete Patrick, reports.
First to appear before the panel was the Registrar of the Corporate Affairs Commission, Hussaini Magaji. Lawmakers expressed displeasure over his failure to provide required documents and directed him to reappear next week, Tuesday.
Issue of filing of annual returns. These are one of the issues that we inherited. There wasn't no serious drive of enforcing that compliance for people to file annual returns.
If this man is not competent to handle this agency, I don't think you should stand before us and start telling us you don't have records.
The managing director of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, Olubumi Kuku, told the committee the agency generated 8 billion naira in 2023 but lost revenue due to debt owed by defunct and operating airlines. She added that FAN recorded 17.5 million passenger traffic across domestic and international flights in 2023.
For the revenue that we generate, for every passenger that flies, we have a percentage of revenue that comes to us. For that revenue, sir, some of it we collect directly, but others we do not collect directly. That's why I gave the example of IATA.
Controller General of the Nigerian Customs Service, Bashiru Adeniyi, said the service realized 3.2 trillion naira in 2023, attributing the figure to a slow start in the first half of the year. He noted that customs generates revenue from import duties, excise duties and fees, but highlighted bottlenecks in meeting the projected 11 trillion naira target for 2026. Lawmakers commended the service performance and urged it to improve.
When I mention this, I'm sure that you are familiar with the fact we will rather want to make 13. But if you permit me to explain that there is still a hanging issue about the Finance Act. The aspect that says we should have 3 trillion naira from excise, addition of some products to excise, has not been done yet.
The target of 11 trillion to us as a committee of finance is very critical. And anything that will inhibit the achievement of that, we'll be ready to work with you.
Earlier, the committee declined the appearance of the Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister of the Economy, insisting that the Minister of State for Finance, Doris Uzoka Nite, must personally appear before it. The revenue monitoring exercise continues daily until all revenue-generating agencies are reviewed. From the National Assembly, Aniete Patrick, reporting for Global TV News.
Well, thank you so very much, Aniete. Nigeria's value-added tax revenue has surged to 2.28 trillion naira in the third quarter of 2025, marking a 10.66% increase from 2.06 trillion in the previous quarter, according to the latest report from the National Bureau of Statistics. The figure was disclosed in the sectoral distribution of value-added tax quarter 3 2025 report published on the NBS website. The report shows that on a year-on-year basis, the value-added tax collections in the third quarter of 2025 increased by 28.10% from the third quarter of 2024. On the foreign scene, United States First Lady Melania Trump has chaired the United Nations Security Council meeting as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran rages. She opened the meeting with a strike of a ceremonial gavel before thanking Britain for its month-long presidency, speaking again later, apparently to honor U.S. service members killed in the war on Iran. Zaral Nasirio completes the report.
First Lady Melania first the cause of children caught incomplete as she chaired a UN Security Council meeting. While the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran intensifies, ambassadors from all of the Security Council's members, including Washington's rivals, Russia and China, lined up to meet with Melania Trump, representing the U.S. as it takes over the monthly rotating presidency of the Security Council.
Good afternoon. The 10,113 meeting of the Security Council is called to order. I would like to take this opportunity to pay tribute on behalf of the Council to the delegation of the United Kingdom for its service as President of the Council for the month of February. My heartfelt condolences to the families who have lost their heroes, who sacrificed their lives for freedom. Their bravery and dedication will always be remembered. I extend my earnest wishes for a swift and smooth recovery to all those who have been injured.
Moments later, the First Lady affirmed that the U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world, expressing the hope that peace will be restored soon enough, without referring directly to the attacks across the Middle East.
The U.S. stands with all of the children throughout the world. I hope soon peace will be yours. Peace does not need to be fragile. Enduring peace will be achieved when knowledge and understanding are fully valued within all societies. The value placed on education by nations' leaders shape the core of their country's belief system.
She was warmly received by the countries represented in the Council, with Greece Ambassador Algai Balta saying thank you, Madam President, while France envoy compared her to the celebrated former First Lady and activist Eleanor Roosevelt. Zahra Unasr reporting for Global TV.
Away from Zaral's report now, the United Kingdom Prime Minister Keir Starmer has confirmed that the UK will allow the United States to use British bases for what he described as a specific and limited defensive purpose. Edicon Michael has the report.
In a televised address, Keir Starmer said the UK was not involved in the initial strikes on Iran and will not join offensive action. However, he confirmed that British jets are already flying defensive missions and that further steps have been taken to protect British lives and regional allies.
Yesterday, I spoke to you about the situation in the Gulf and explained that the United Kingdom was not involved in the strikes on Iran. Over the last 2 days, Iran has launched sustained attacks across the region at countries who did not attack them. They've hit airports and hotels where British citizens are staying.
Starmer said that over the past 2 days, Iran had launched sustained attacks across the region, including strikes on locations where British nationals were present. He said there are at least 200,000 British citizens in the region, including residents, families on holiday, and those in transit, and urged them to register with the Foreign Office and follow official travel advice.
This is clearly a dangerous situation. We have at least 200,000 British citizens in the region. Our armed forces, who are located across the region, are also being put at risk by Iran's actions. The death of the supreme leader will not stop Iran from launching these strikes. Their approach is becoming even more reckless and more dangerous to civilians. Our decision that the UK would not be involved with the strikes on Iran was deliberate, not least because we believe that the best way forward for the region and for the world is a negotiated settlement.
Keir Starmer, while reiterating that the UK will not take part in offensive strikes, the Prime Minister confirmed the Gulf partners had requested additional support and the United States had asked for permission to use the British bases to target the missile infrastructure. Starmer said the legal basis for the decision was collective self-defense and the protection of the British life, adding that a summary of the government's legal advice will be published. He also confirmed that British aircraft are flying as part of the coordinated defensive operations and have already intercepted the Iranian strikes. He concluded by affirming the measures as necessary to protect British nationals and prevent further regional destabilization. Edicon Michael for Global TV News.
A Sudan's army-aligned government has accused Ethiopia of involvement in recent drone strike, saying attacks launched from inside Ethiopian territory targeted sites in Sudan in February and March. In a statement, Sudan's foreign ministry warned Ethiopian authorities of what it called the consequences of these hostile acts, describing the incidents as clear aggression. The statement did not specify who carried out the attacks, how many occurred, or which locations were hit. It marks the first Khartoum has officially accused Ethiopia of interference in Sudan's nearly 3-year-long war between the regular army and the paramilitary rapid response support forces. The conflict has increasingly drawn in regional and international actors. At a recent UN Security Council meeting, British Foreign Secretary Yvette Cooper said the absence of a ceasefire was due to military leaders believing victory was still possible as they continue to acquire more lethal weapons, citing external support from multiple states. And now to sports. FIFA will today launch the final 100-day countdown to the 2026 World Cup, marking the approach to the tournament. However, the World Football Governing Body did not provide any updates on the anticipated disciplinary verdicts involving Nigeria and the Democratic Republic of Congo. In a post on its official X handle, FIFA said the biggest ever FIFA World Cup is just 100 days away, 48 teams, 104 games, and 11 June to 19 July. Real Madrid said on Tuesday their winger Rodrigo Goes has suffered a severe knee injury and is expected to keep him out of the World Cup with Brazil this summer. Following the test carried out on the player by Real Madrid's medical services, he has been diagnosed with a ruptured anterior cruciate ligament and a tear of the lateral meniscus in his right leg. That's according to Los Blancos. Rodrigo appeared as a substitute in Madrid's 1-0 home La Liga defeat by Getafe on Monday, where he sustained the injury. The war against Iran, launched by the United States and Israel, and Iran's subsequent retaliation have sent shockwaves through the Middle East, disrupting daily life and leaving Nigerian footballers navigating sudden uncertainty. Several domestic football leagues have suspended play amid the crisis. The Qatar FA postponed all matches from Sunday, while the Persian Gulf Pro League, Iran's top flight, and the Israeli Premier League have also halted competition. The Asian Football Confederation postponed Continental Club Championship playoffs scheduled in the region, rescheduling the Champions League elite round of 16 fixtures, while the Finalissima match set for March 27 in Doha between European Championship winners Spain and Copa America champions Argentina now in doubt. Tonight, let's end Global TV News Prime with a look at some of our big stories. President Bola Tinubu has nominated Taiwo Oyedele as Minister of State for Finance, replacing Dr. Doris Uzoka Aniti. In business, the House of Representatives Committee on Finance has flagged off its revenue monitoring exercise for the 2023 to 2025 fiscal years as part of efforts to boost funding for the 2026 budget. On the foreign scene, United States First Lady Melania Trump has chaired a United Nations Security Council meeting as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran rages. And finally, in sports tonight, we told you the war against Iran, launched by the United States and Israel, and Iran's subsequent retaliation have sent shockwaves through the Middle East, disrupting daily life and leaving Nigerian footballers navigating sudden uncertainty. And that's News Prime for you tonight. Thank you for watching. On behalf of my colleagues who have made it possible, I'm Uyag Mofwebe. I'll see you again.